A Canadian kid was arrested in 2002 when he was 15 years old. He was picked up in Afghanistan. U.S. forces say that he confessed to throwing a grenade that killed a U.S. soldier. That kid, Omar Khadr, claims that he confessed to no such thing. He says that anything he said like that was forcibly extracted from him, and it therefore can't be used against him. This past week, at a military tribunal at Guantanamo, the man who was the first U.S. military officer to interrogate this kid after his arrest back in 2002 testified as a witness, and he made a really remarkable admission. He said that early in his interrogation of this 15-year-old, he decided to use the fear-up approach, the made-up, crypto, pseudo, fake academic Bush-era interrogation technique invented by fantasists who watched too much film noir as teenagers. The basic idea was to make prisoners so scared that they would talk. Actually experienced interrogators tell us that terrifying people can be a way to get them to talk. It just isn't a way to get them to tell the truth. Omar Khadr's interrogator testified that in order to terrify the kid, he threatened him with rape and possibly death. Spencer Ackerman at the Washington Independent has been doing great coverage of this case from Guantanamo this week. Let me let Spencer describe what the interrogator admitted on the stand. Quote, interrogator number one began using techniques that he said were designed to elicit fear from the young detainee. One of them involved telling a fictitious story to Omar Khadr, something interrogator number one said the interrogators at Bagram came up with after noticing Afghan detainees were terrified of getting raped and general homosexuality. According to the story, a poor little 20-year-old kid found to be lying to interrogators was sent to a U.S. prison where four big black guys and big Nazis eye up the fictitious detainee, and the black inmates rape him in a shower, a brutalization that proves to be fatal. So in the interrogation of this kid, they told him if he didn't cooperate, he'd be sent to the U.S. to be raped and killed in prison. Then the kid confessed. Despite the best legal gymnastics of the Bush administration, threatening to kill a prisoner is a potential war crime under the Geneva Conventions. Nevertheless, interrogator number one appears to have testified about what he did without immunity and without being forced to give that testimony. Now, this was a pretrial hearing about the admissibility of the evidence of this against this Canadian kid, Omar Khadr. He has been in prison for 8 years already. He's now 23 years old. But here was the kicker that happened in Guantanamo this week. Pursuant to their reporting on this case, the Office of the Secretary of Defense decided to kick 4 reporters out of Guantanamo and has banned them from coming back. The Pentagon's complaint against these 4 reporters is that they published the name of interrogator number one, who testified as a witness. Now, that interrogator has done an interview under his real name with one of these reporters. His name has been published in publicly available documents by both the prosecution and the defense in this case. It has been printed in multiple publications other than those of the reporters who were just banned. But still, the Pentagon has kicked these reporters out and banned them from Guantanamo indefinitely. One of those reporters that was just banned is the single most experienced Guantanamo reporter in this country, Carol Rosenberg of the Miami Herald. One of these reporters who's been banned is the reporter who quite literally wrote the book on the Omar Khadr case. She is Michelle Shepard of the Toronto Star. The other 2 reporters who were banned were from CanWest and the Globe and Mail, also in Canada. They're described by Spencer Ackerman as, quote, invaluable resources about the Khadr case and Guantanamo to their journalistic colleagues. And now the Pentagon has banned them from covering Guantanamo for publishing information that has been publicly available for years and that other people have published too. If this administration is trying to make the case that the tribunals at Guantanamo aren't kangaroo fake courts that insult the whole idea of the rule of law, then this whole authoritarian, inexplicable banning the press thing is not helping.